I quit my job pretty much 8 years ago. I think it was in 2016. That's when I finally left my job and finally started working for myself. And there were a lot of different feelings during that time. I was very happy, very excited, but I was also very stressed and worried. So in this video, I'm gonna tell you guys how I did it, why I did it, what motivated me to do it, how I felt, the different decisions that I made, and I hope this information will help you guys also leave your job if that's what you want to do, and how to move on to something else, how to start a business the way that I did it. Please subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment below. If you have a question, I'll answer it, and let's get into it. My last job ever was working for a jewelry company, and I was doing sales and marketing, and I was trying to sort of grow their brand. And I guess looking back now, I didn't really know that much about how to grow a brand and grow a company, but they hired me and I did my best, and I actually did quite well most of the time. Eventually, I started to have issues where I didn't know what else I can do for the company and how else I can contribute, and I had trouble keeping myself busy and figuring out how I can further grow and contribute and bring value to the company. And I actually didn't really want to be there anymore. I was struggling, I was stressed, I was frustrated, I did not want to go to work, and I wanted to move on. I wanted to do something else. And in 2016, I finally made the decision after 3 years of working at that company. And this is what happened. As I mentioned earlier, it was a jewelry company. They manufactured jewelry, they sold jewelry, they were trying to build a jewelry brand and all that kind of stuff. So pretty much 3 years into working for the company, I realized that I can sell the same stuff that they're selling. And I feel really stupid for this because it took me almost 3 years, and I had a coworker that actually quit before me, and I found out later was doing the exact same thing. So pretty much 3 years into working at this company, I realized they were selling products, they were making money, and I could do the exact same thing. It finally hit me after 3 years, but better late than never. So I started selling similar products on Amazon. I was fairly familiar with how to sell online and how to sell on Amazon and Etsy and eBay, so it wasn't that difficult for me. It was just that aha moment that, hey, I can do this myself. I have skills, I have talents, I'm working here providing value, but I don't really want to do this anymore for anyone else. I want to do it for myself. So I started an Amazon store and I started an Etsy store selling similar products that this company was selling. And this basically happened a few months, maybe 2-3 months before I left the company. And I started selling the products and they were selling okay. I wasn't making a lot of money. I was making a few $100s a month, but I finally saw that I could do it. I could potentially work for myself. I could potentially have my own business, and it could be my way out. It could be a way out of the company that I didn't want to work at anymore, and that I could potentially sustain myself and work for myself and finally move on. So 2 to 3 months later, I was still working at the company, but I was already building my store and making some sales. As I said earlier, I was doing a few $100s worth of sales, and I finally decided that I was gonna leave. I couldn't take it anymore. I did not want to show up to work. I hated being at work, and I knew that I was getting sales, even though I wasn't making that much money. At the time, I was living by myself. I had to pay rent, I had to pay bills. I didn't have huge expenses. I was living in a studio apartment, but I still needed at least a couple of grand to pay for all the bills. And at this point, I was getting to about $500, $700 a month, $900 a month, about 2-3 months into it. And I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna take the leap. I think I'm gonna quit and I'm gonna focus on this full time, and I think I can make it work. So that's basically what I did. I told the company that, hey, I think I'm gonna try to start working from home part-time. If you guys need me for anything, call me. And I basically transitioned out of the company that way over the next month or two. I didn't leave right away. I still wanted to help if they needed my help, but I knew that I was leaving, and I think they realized it soon after. And eventually, a couple of months later, I officially left the company, and I was selling on Amazon and Etsy and barely paying the bills. So the first day that I knew that I was out of the company, I came outside and I was elated. I was so excited. I was like high and euphoric because I knew I did not have to go to work anymore. And I didn't really have much to do that day, and I was still kind of stressed, and I didn't know if I was gonna make enough money to pay for bills, but I was so happy that I finally took the step. I finally managed to move on and start working for myself because I always wanted to work for myself. It was pretty much the happiest day of my life. And even though it took me a while to make enough money to pay for all the bills, I did end up with some credit card debt. I struggled. I had to work some part-time jobs here and there, but it was the best decision I've ever made in my life. I realized that what I can do for the company, I can do for myself. And I finally opened up my mind and looked around and saw that I had skills and talents and opportunity that I can do myself, that I did not need to be at the company anymore, and I can take matters into my own hands. So the lesson here is that you guys are capable, you're doing something, you have skills, you have value. So if you don't necessarily want to work somewhere, work a job that you're currently working and you want to move on, look around you, look at what you're doing and look at the possibilities. They're doing a business, they're making money. Maybe you can do the same thing. Maybe you can do something similar. Maybe you can apply your skills and talents that you're applying at this job to your own business, to yourself, to a side business, to being a freelancer, whatever it is. And that could be your ticket out of the job and into working for yourself. So that's my story. I hope it inspires you guys to finally make that choice, make that decision, to finally leave a place that you don't necessarily want to be and move on to bigger and better things. And if you have your own story, please share it below in the comments. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to read about it. And I wish you guys the best, and I'll see you guys next time.